And your trip to the mountains?
Quiet.
Is that good?
Very.
I prefer the beach.
Well, it's been good because it gives me a chance to see things a little more clearly.
Why do I get the feeling that I'm one of those things?
Because you are.
Surprise. Look, Mother, I'm really not in the mood to go through
Well,
all of
that's
this.
too bad, Amber, because you come in here time after time and unload on me, and now it is your turn. Have you told Gil about the pregnancy?
No.
Even considering our last conversation?
Especially considering it. Mother, with all respect, stay out of something that doesn't concern you.
Oh, thank you, Mrs. Lucas.
You look as if you have good news, sir.
No, I have excellent news.
Oh, about Eric?
About Eric. You do drink sherry, don't you, Mrs. Lucas?
Yes, but not...
No, now, no objections. I am the employer, you know.
Yes, of course you are, sir. but
And I
don't-
am about to propose a toast, and it's a little difficult to propose one by yourself, so indulge me.
Well, if you insist.
Here is to my grandson, Eric Carpenter Mason. May he soon have the pleasure of calling himself Eric Carpenter.
Oh, and that's an excellent name, sir.
You know, getting rid of Harold Webster was one of the smartest things I've done all year. And to think that I accepted his word about not having any rights with Eric.
What did your new lawyer say?
Well, he agrees with me about Miriam's behavior. He feels that she's erratic and irrational. He also says that, in his wisdom, the judge will undoubtedly grant me custody.
Oh, it'll be good having Eric home.
Oh, it'll just be wonderful. And you know, I think I'll get him that motorbike he wants. Make it a coming home present.
Oh, he'll love that.
Yes, and I won't have to listen to Miriam's accusation of extravagance anymore either. I can give him anything I like.
Oh, it'll be like a family again.
Mrs. Lucas, did I have any phone calls?
Oh, yes. That nice man from Ridley Electronics called.
Oh, well, that nice man, as you call him, is trying to put me out of business. Well, I'll deal with that later.
Of course.
Let him try. Let anybody try. I'm on the crest of the wave again. I haven't lost my touch. And you know, Mrs. Lucas, I want to say that I appreciate your support. And I also want you to know that I'm aware, quite aware, of your very warm affection for Eric. You are very important to this trial. And I think that when the judge sees how you feel about the boy and knows that you are more capable of taking care of him than Miriam is, well, I'm sure you understand.
Oh, I do. And I cherish the compliment. If you don't mind me asking, sir, where did she go wrong? It's hard for me to believe that a man of your caliber and breeding would have a daughter that's so...
Daughter is thankless, irresponsible, and difficult.
Oh, I didn't mean
I
to be...
quite understand, and I wish I could answer your question. See, Miriam always got everything she ever wanted, and now she's turned that into an accusation rather than an asset. And she keeps suggesting that I tried to buy her love with material things, that even going so far as to suggest that I have no affection for her at all, that I used these material things to keep her from me.
Ridiculous.
Yes, but it's also to hide her insecurities as well. But now I have a chance to show just how wrong she is, to bring out the real problem. I am going to raise Eric exactly the way I raised her. And then when she sees what a fine young man he is, maybe she'll come around. And when she does, I am certainly going to enjoy her apology.
This doesn't concern me. Is that why you came to me in the first place?
I came here because I needed someone to talk to.
You could have picked a total stranger for that.
Maybe I did. I certainly didn't get what I expected to from my own mother.
Because you didn't get what you wanted?
Because I didn't get what I needed.
Only in your opinion.
Well, this is my life we're talking about, so it's my opinion that counts.
No, it isn't just your life that we're talking about. We're talking about Gil's and this child's.
Hasn't anything I've said gotten through to you? Gil's participation in this was clinical at best. And that entitles him to 0 rights and privileges.
Oh, stop it.
And if you can call this thing that's growing inside me a child, well, you look pretty foolish. Or maybe I should say that all the work that you did to legalize abortion makes you look foolish. What's wrong? Did I finally hit a nerve?
I'd be the last one to discourage you from aborting this child.
Well, your memory is pretty poor.
I have already apologized for my original reaction. My only point is, yes, you have a right to decide, but I do believe, in my opinion, that you should tell Gil about it.
Well, in my opinion, he shouldn't be.
Well, now we know where each of us stands.
Again.
Have you decided when you will have it done?
No.
May I ask why not?
You can ask, but I don't have an answer.
And yet you seem so sure that you are going to do it.
Don't make more out of that statement than is there, please.
Well, for someone who is so determined, Abby.
Things haven't changed.
Would it be so horrible if you were thinking about having this child and not going through with this abortion?
Yes!
Why? Now's the time to think about it, Amber. Now, while you can still change your mind. As much as I agree that women do have a right to choose, I know that it's not the right choice for every woman. Don't do something you'll bitterly regret later.
Well, I had to come from halfway across town. Well, I really don't.
Y'all please be quiet. I just
Well, it
don't
doesn't
believe
really
it.
matter.
You're gonna
I said be quiet.
Thank you. Now I'm going to call the cops and turn you all in if you don't shut up and listen to me.
What's going on here?
Quiet! Sorry.
Right, go ahead, call the cops. That just proves my point. We're all victims of an oppressive society.
That's a bunch of baloney and you know it. If you came in here with your arm hanging out of its socket or your finger half cut off, you'd want to be treated first. Why don't you tell these people what your complaint is today?
What difference does it make?
Oh, it makes a difference. Joyce comes in complaining of a headache today. Well, she comes in once a week complaining of a headache. It just so happens that Mr. Peters came in with his arm dislocated. Y'all saw how much pain he was in. And that poor little girl had a badly cut finger. That's what we call emergencies. And we take emergencies first. And I certainly don't apologize for it. I'm ashamed of all of you. You're all regular customers. You ought to know better.
You gonna let her get away with standing there and giving a line like that?
Yes, they are, because they know I'm telling the truth. Now, y'all just sit down and behave yourselves. Especially you.
Not this one. Just stick that in your ear, you old witch. Get out here and take my business elsewhere.
For bravery in the heat of battle, I award you the coveted silver paperclip.
Thank you very much. I'll wear it with great pride. Always.
Good job, Lucy. I was just getting ready to call the police.
I've seen bouncers less suspected.
Didn't y'all know that was my specialty in nursing school? Yeah. Some of the others went for the less interesting things like obstetrics and pediatrics, but I opted for crowd management.
Well, see if you and Ione can manage for a little while longer. We're working as fast as we can.
Oh, we'll be fine.
Russ, could you give me a hand, please?
Sure.
Okay, Miss Bartelli, come sit over here in this chair and I'll take your blood pressure.
Well, here we are again. How's the best little patient I've ever had?
She's doing just fine.
Hiya, kiddo.
You know what, Yolanda? I've got grown-ups who aren't nearly as brave as you are. I think 3 sutures will do it.
All right.
Yolanda, have you ever seen your mommy sew? You haven't?
Sure you have, honey. Remember when your doll's arm fell off and I put it back on?
Well, you see, that's what I'm going to do with your finger. I'm going to sew it up. Easy. I'm going to sew it up, and I'm going to make it all better. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. It might hurt just a little. But only a little. And when we're all finished here, I'll give you a lollipop.
Ooh, won't that be nice, honey? She'll be all right.
I'm sure she will.
There we go.
All right.
Watch your foot, hon. There you go.
Okay, Lord, help me now. Don't let me down.
Just scoot on right up there just a little bit.
These things are slippery. Come on.
You want another one?
No. I don't want another one. I'll do this one. There. Okay, if you could stand back low, Mrs. Jackson. And Russ, if you would just hold her hand still, please.
All right, she's doing just fine.
It's all right, honey. This'll only take a minute. Okay?
Ready?
Yeah, I think so, huh?
Okay. I'm sorry. I can't.
Listen, that's all right.
No, it's not all right. Sorry.
Nancy? Nancy, come on, Nancy. Oh, Nancy. Boy, we certainly have come a long way, haven't we? This is exactly the way you used to find me. Do you know that I had a wish when I was getting better that someday I'd find you in the same position? I'd put you through the same kind of torture you put me through. It'd be awfully easy right now, but pointless. Guess that's the difference between us. When you see someone in trouble, all you can think about is how to use it to your advantage. And all I can think about is how to help them. Even you. So let's get going. Come on, Nancy. Nancy? Nancy, come on. You wake up, Nancy. Have some coffee. Come on, Nancy.
Oh, Lucy, I've got this prescription list for Mrs. Smith. I'll put it on the desk for you,
Oh,
okay?
okay, thank you. Oh, by the way, since we got caught up, I told Ione she could go home early.
Good, thank you. Got a minute?
Yeah, I guess. Thank you for finishing up that little girl for me.
Well, thank you for taking care of the dislocated shoulder. Did a good job.
Yeah.
Remember the first time you soloed in surgery?
Of course.
I remember walking out of the operating room like I owned the hospital. In a way, I did. The way surgeons in all hospitals do. They're top men on the totem poles.
Is this going to be a pride goes before a fall story?
No. But surgeons aren't the only people who work in hospitals, Ben, or clinics. And even though they may think it, they're not the most important people in healthcare teams.
Dave, you can't ask me to forget the profession I trained 9 years for.
Oh, yes, I can. If that's what God's asking you to do, then so can I. Now, everything about the system we're trained in and worked in reinforced our self-importance. It was one long, continuous pat on the back. But when you come right down to it, it had nothing to do with reality. But this does. for this moment and maybe for the rest of your life. God has a plan for this. Figure out what he wants you to do with your life, Ben. Take the time and don't dwell on the past.
Ione, now please, don't get upset.
For goodness sakes, don't tell me she's drunk.
Very, if this is any indication.
Well, what have you done about trying to get her up?
Ione, I have done everything. I have slapped her, screamed at her, shaken her, everything. I even made some hot coffee, but I couldn't get her mouth open to get her to drink it. I think we might as well drag her on upstairs and let her finish sleeping it off.
Well, that's true. She's going to feel pretty horrible tomorrow, but she's going to feel equally as horrible today because we're not going to let her get away with it. Now, you know, this is exactly the kind of escape she wants. Come on, help me try to get her up.
I don't think I can. Come on, Nancy.
Come on, Nancy. Come on, Nancy. Nancy. Come on, wake up, Nancy. Nancy, as God is my witness, you're going to face up to your problems like an adult today. Come on, Nancy. Nancy, you don't really want me to get angry, do you, Nancy?
Don't you stay too late now. You've got a wife and a son that are just dying to see you.
Oh, just as soon as I finish up this chart.
Night.
Lucille, we couldn't run this clinic without you. You're doing a great job.
Thank you. You know, we all think you are too, Dr. Martin.
Look at that. Got so busy, forgot to eat lunch.
Thanks for everything today, Russ.
Yeah, was that it?
No. There's something I want to say. What happened earlier today with that little girl, that was wrong and it was very unprofessional, and I apologize.
Hey, I understand.
No excuses. You handled it very well, and thank you for calming the little girl down and for getting Dave in there and helping him finish up for me.
Mm-hmm. Well, does that mean I'm gonna get a little something extra in my paycheck this week?
Well, if you did get a paycheck, there would be a little something extra.
Yeah.
Enough of this place for one day. Let's get out of here.
Sounds good to me.
You got anything special planned for tonight?
Yeah, I got a stack of bills at home this thick just waiting for me to come home and do them, and I can't wait either. How about you?
I don't know. I may stop by the hospital. Play a little catch with Scott.
A 1 week old baby?
Hey, it's my son we're talking about. The kid's got great hands.
Oh, yeah, oh, sure, of course, I forgot. Hey, listen, tell me something. Why do you think all that had to happen to your hand? I mean, why do you think that God let that happen?
Wish I could tell you.
Ever make you want to thumb your nose at all this religious stuff?
Russ, I may not understand what God is doing, but I'd never be so foolish as to say he doesn't understand what he's doing. I just have to wait and let him show me why it happened. And he always does. Unfortunately, that doesn't make the waiting any less maddening. Russ, I hope you're not using my situation as proof of God's indifference or as a reason to keep him out of your life.
No. I got plenty of reasons of my own. Especially if those nightmares keep coming back about me taking Marianne into hell with me.
Well, maybe if you did let him into your life, those nightmares would stop.
Yeah. And maybe he'd heal your hand, too.
Hello, Nancy.
Terry? I think maybe I'll just go on upstairs and check on Eric.
I'm sorry he had to be here to see any of this.
Well, fortunately, he was taking a nap. I think he missed most of it.
Well, I'll just head on upstairs, too. Terry, if you need anything, just call.
Right, thanks, Ione.
I feel awful.
That's nothing compared to how you're going to feel.
You always have something cheerful to say, don't you?
Why, Nancy?
Well, when you're sick, you take an aspirin. And when you break your leg, you get a cast. And, you know, when you have a cavity, you go to the dentist, right? I mean, you know, when you have life as crummy as mine is, you do everything you can to forget about it.
Or change it.
You can't change the past.
You can't live in the past either.
Well, I do. I've always lived in the past, and I can't get away from it. And I hate it, but what can I do?
Hi. I know I'm a little bit early, but I didn't feel like going all the way home to my apartment and then fighting the traffic all the way back here.
No, I'm glad to see you, really. It's all right.
Well, would you mind saying that one more time, only this time a little more convincingly?
No. No, really, I am.
What's wrong, Kate?
Amber was here earlier. She got me very upset. I know she's going to be angry with me, Dave, but I think there's something you should know.